They were defeated because they were divided. They were defeated because they were casteist. They were defeated because they were patriarchal.
That nations weaken not because of their past, but rather by how they are taught it. This is a country where Guru Arjan Dev was forced to sit on a hot plate and literally cooked alive by the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. And what do? We immortalize Jahangir in our films as that affable, feather-toying romantic Salim. This is the country where Kareena Kapoor and Saif Ali Khan take pride in naming their son Taimur. Where Akhilesh Yadav takes pride in having the nickname Tipu or Tipu Sultan. The same Tipu Sultan.
Therefore, history is important for Bharat. I don't care whether history is important for anybody else or not.
Has the Places of Worship Act been abrogated? Has the Waqf Act been abrogated? Have the Kashmiri Hindus been rehabilitated? Have the Places of Worship Act been abrogated? Quote, remembering Maulana Azad on his birth anniversary, he is widely admired for his scholarly nature and intellectual prowess. He remained at the forefront of our freedom movement, working closely with other leading lights, promoting unity and brotherhood. Unquote. This is a quote by Narendra Modi. Now let me quote Maulana Azad. Quote, be extremely hard against kafirs, but extremely kind amongst ourselves, unquote. All relationships in the world can break down. Father can turn against son, brother against brother, mother can shun her child, but the relationship of a Muslim with a Muslim can never be severed, unquote Maulana Azad. I think we are tired of virtue signaling and political correctness. We are tired of blaming people who resort to writing trash about history. Change has to come from top down. And if the topmost person believes this to be the true facet of our history and what is to be taught in our schools, eulogize these people, then I don't think there is any redemption for this country. Quote, met Muslim community delegation. I presented the sacred chadar, which will be placed during the urs of the beloved Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti at the esteemed Ajmer Sharif Dargah, unquote, Narendra Modi. Quote, I will raise these Ansagar Hindu temples to the ground. I have come to India to fight the holy war against infidels, unquote, Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. The Hanafi Sufi saint who fought alongside the demonic Gauri helped capture Prithviraj and unsparingly converted Hindus. Quote, best wishes to my sisters and brothers of Goa on the day of the feast of Saint Francis Xavier. May this occasion further the spirit of harmony and brotherhood in our society, unquote, by Narendra Modi. Quote, Hindu gods and their idols are as dirty as they are ugly and horrible to look at. Witnessing the destruction of temples and idols gives me so much joy, unquote, Saint Francis Xavier, the chief architect of the Goa Inquisition that led to the conversion, torture and murder of countless Hindus.
No other community, when presented with this kind of horrendous genocidal massacres that it has survived, reacts with this kind of judgment towards its own ancestors. They were defeated because they were cowards. They were defeated because they lacked Kshatriya spirit. They were defeated because they were divided. They were defeated because they were casteist. They were defeated because they were patriarchal. You can't find nothing positive about your people? What is the point of history if it doesn't take you closer to your people? What is the point of it? If people shed their blood, their lives, their women, their children, their men, everybody under the sun to protect the Murti, and hundreds of years later, today we have a debate within the Hindu community whether we should take back all the occupied sites. Why should you read history if this is your reaction after becoming aware of the kind of the trouble that we have gone through to recover one place? To reduce the sacrifices and the troubles of your ancestors to mere cliches and stereotypes is not done. And the worst part of our history is that it is not in the past, it is a continuing present. The challenges of the past continue today. Perhaps if you were a geographically isolated, let's say, region, so to speak, you can still afford to look at your past with a sense of, let's say, archival sense, in the sense you can look at it, hua tha. So I need to understand in an academic sense, kya hua tha. Everything that has happened is repeating itself. कालचक्र फिर से वहीं पे आके खड़ा हो चुका है. The 1920s, according to me, are no different from the 2020s. The only question that I've been constantly asking myself is, at least at this juncture, will we take the right decision instead of making the mistakes of the past? And therefore, when I look at history, I'm blunt about the fact that I'm looking at weaponizing the Hindu mind. I'm absolutely blunt about it from a societal perspective. If you still don't know how to look out for your interest, you deserve everything that you have suffered and everything that will come your way if you don't learn from it. Somebody has to say this. The politician will not. Somebody else has to say this. The verdict of 9th of November 2019 was made possible because of 496 years of Jaddojahed. By generations of people who did not know whether they'd be remembered or not. Lawyers will get their visibility. Judges will get their visibility. Who is going to talk of the Nihangs and everybody else who fought for 400 years? There was a time when both these communities were fighting together to protect the Kshetra. Can you say the same thing about Punjab of today? Too uncomfortable a fact? Therefore, history is important for Bharat. I don't care whether history is important for anybody else or not. Separatism of Kashmir at least openly wore the Kalashnikov on its sleeve. Dravidianism uses social justice as a weapon, which is much more dangerous than AK-47, not because I have a problem with the concept of social justice, but anti-Hinduism and anti-Bharatiism is packaged in the fantastic label of social justice warriorship.
When Sai says the problem is not about the politician not doing what he's supposed to do, the problem is the Hindu society. He puts the blame on the Hindu society. So I ask him point blank, no one is as aware of what needs to be done to emancipate the Hindus, to remove the discrimination than Jai Sai, then Vishnu Jain, then Hari Jain, then Meenakshi Jain, then so many others. No one. But what has happened in the last 10 years? The society is awakened through these giants. Has the Places of Worship Act been abrogated? Has the Waqf Act been abrogated? Have the Kashmiri Hindus been rehabilitated? Have the Places of Worship Act been abrogated? None of those things have happened. Who is responsible for making those things happen? That is why I believe that you can awaken as much as you want. As much as you want. Ultimately, if the person who is right at the very top is not awakened, nothing is possible.
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीता राम सुंदर विग्रह मेघा श्याम गंगा तुलसी शालिग्राम भद्र गिरीश्वर सीताराम भगत जनप्रिय सीताराम. This is the original composition by Pandit Lakshmanacharya ji, but it was changed to Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patit Pavan Sita Ram. ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. राम रहीम करीम समान हम सब हैं उनकी संतान. That nations weaken not because of their past, but rather by how they are taught it. And for 70 years, we have been taught to airbrush our history, taught to forget historical injustices, from Somnath to Kashi Vishwanath, from Babarpur to Bakhtiyarpur, from Allahabad to Aurangabad. These injustices have somehow deliberately been made visible, as though to lionize the debasement, to celebrate the humiliation. Why? We know more about the Mughals than about Shivaji and Rana Pratap and Prithviraj Chauhan. Why? Because history written by the victors is peddled by the vanquished. And we have been thoroughly vanquished. We have to accept it. This is a country where people still go and pray at the grave of the monster Aurangzeb who beheaded Guru Tegh Bahadur, who decapitated Sambhaji Maharaj, who demolished Kashi Vishwanath, and who murdered 4.6 million Hindus. This is a country where Guru Arjan Dev was forced to sit on a hot plate and literally cooked alive by the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. And what do? We immortalize Jahangir in our films as that affable, feather-toying romantic Salim. This is the country where Kareena Kapoor and Saif Ali Khan take pride in naming their son Taimur, where Akhilesh Yadav takes pride in having the nickname Tipu or Tipu Sultan. The same Tipu Sultan who wrote a manifesto that was a terrifying proclamation calling for all Muslims to come together to convert infidels and wage jihad. The irony is that the same people who have taught us this, drilled this self-loathing in us, these same people, men and women of grey, they want others to fight historical injustices around the world. They condemn barbarians of the West hitherto worshipped, like the Confederacy generals, Rhodes, Churchill, Pizarro, Murray, Colston, Leopold. They celebrate their roads and buildings being renamed, their statues being brought down. But here in India, this same lot eulogizes Tipu, Aurangzeb, Babur, Khilji. They celebrate the destruction of Kashi, Mathura, Ayodhya, Martand. Why?